What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Wingin It podcast, the first one of 2021. Andre, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, especially knowing that there's going to be a device out that can keep your chicken warm and play your games.
Oh God.
If it looks like a bucket.
KFC. Yep. Yep. KFC. Boy, gotta love them. All right. So, looks like, hey, Shadow, you in?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
What is up? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, hanging in there.
That's good. So today's podcast, seeing as how we are the first one, this is the first one of 2021. We're just gonna do a year in review. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the pandemic.
Ooh, ooh.
The good, the bad, and the virus?
Yeah. So we're gonna start this off on a positive note, and
Sorry.
we're gonna start this off on a positive note, and then get progressively worse. Please stay and enjoy.
Stick.
All right, so 2020 had a lot of interesting games in it. It started off kind of strong, then it got pretty weird, then we kind of ended kind of strong, in my opinion. Just to be honest. Now that's not to say that there were certain things that didn't that had to get pushed back into this year and next year. For that matter, 2021 and 2022, we had a couple of console releases, if you want to call it that. We had a couple of controversies, which we will be getting into. Actually, a few of them, actually.
There's a lot.
Yeah, revolving around three big games. We had a couple games get ignored that shouldn't have got ignored. Goes to Tsushima. And from there, we're just gonna, give our thoughts in review. So let's start this off positively. So, what was your favorite games of 2020? I only have a few, but I'm just gonna talk about, one indie and one mainline. So you guys can do however you wish to do. But I'm gonna start this off. My favorite indie game of 2020, hands down, Hades. Supergiant Games.
I can see that. I can see that.
They did that game. Should have won Game of the Year.
I've got to play that game.
Yes, and not for the obvious reason that they have a black Athena and a black Ares, but because it's actually a fun story.
That's a lot more historically accurate than people want to admit.
Man, don't say that, because now you just brought the racists in here.
That happened
now they
before
come in
the
here.
Spanish Inquisition. There was no racism.
And now everybody gonna tell us how factually that is not accurate. There are no people. Just it's a video game. Just play it. So
How dare Morgan Freeman be in Robin Hood?
I didn't take no lies in that statement, but
read a book. That's all I can say. Just read a book.
But that being said, Hannibal of Carthage, and that being said, I enjoyed that game. I thought that game, I still play it, get a couple rounds in every now and then. It is a very fun game. Now I know it's a roguelite, and most people, even I don't really care for them. But Supergiant Games, I am a fan of, and I think they did an amazing job with that game. Now the second one on my list, and I gotta give me a second, let me find it. Now normally I wouldn't, go there with this particular game, but y'all already know me. I don't know why would you expect any other game to not be my favorite of this year, and that's how we're always Age of Calamity. I mean, Zelda and Metroid fanboy.
I already knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. If a Metroid game would have came out, it would have been a Metroid game. So just
it definitely would have been.
Yeah, for me anyway. But Age of Calamity, that was a fun game, and I gotta do a spoiler-filled review. I may have to call in Rob Rule to review for that one. Just because there's some stuff that people want to talk about, but they can't because people haven't finished the game yet, and I think it's hilariously funny. But yeah, Nintendo, y'all pulled a fast one. I gotta give y'all and Koei Tecmo credit. Y'all pulled a fast one on me. Y'all did.
The revisionism.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, because you know what I really want to. but that. So those are my two favorite games of 2020 that came out. So Andre, what about you, man?
Well, all of mine are indies. As
Yeah, that's fine.
odd as it seems, because none of the mainstream stuff that I really played outside of Squadrons really took me. And Squadrons is just my idea of how a Star Fox game should have been made. So
shots fired.
That's all that. That's the truth. If anybody listen to that video, but the favorites for me were, oddly enough, because I also talked to the developer. One Step from Eden, because Thomas Moon Kang made that, and it's a really good game. That's the one that follows in the steps of Mega Man Battle Network. Then there was also Alpha Version 0, which is another Mega Man style game. I guess I have a pattern here, and that was like a spiritual follow up to like the Mega Man X series. And then the last one was odd, and I only played it at the end of the year recently, and it's a beat 'em up / RPG called Treachery and Beatdown City. And I never thought that combination would work until I played that game.
That is a 90s title if I ever heard one.
Oh, it straight up is. The dialogue, the characters, the way they behave in this game. It's all like late 80s, early 90s. But the way the game plays, I would have never expected a RPG setup to work with a beat 'em up. And
okay.
They figured out how to make it happen. And I commend the team that put it together, because I would never have thought that. Actually, what's the name of the team? It's New Challenger, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Huracan Works. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that game came out in March.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right, Shadow, you up?
So off the top of my head, my two favorites are going to be Switch games, and the close third, even though I haven't played a lot of it, is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. That game is just very well made. The environment is very well made, and the combat is what I expected of that team, because that's all they've done is show how to improve upon open world combat. So with you being able to pick your own styles and things of that nature, and the amount of collectibles, it's a very, very well crafted experience. And that's even from, I've only played maybe 5 hours of it. So
Kira Kurosawa will be proud.
Yes. But I'm gonna finish the rest of my full playthrough. I may even stream it at some point here, since I have a little bit more access to play on the PlayStation library a lot more now than before, since I don't have to fight over who plays NBA 2K where. Yeah, daddywoles.com. But now I'm able to play this kind of stuff, and even on PS5 in 4K upres or what have you, whatever updates they have for that game, I'll be probably streaming some gameplay of that in the future. But that is one of my favorites this year. So the second and first, there's a little bit of bias here, but Future Connected, Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, not even the remake itself, just Future Connected, because of it's an expansion of what happens on that story, and how well you can play that game, and how you max yourself out in that game. And it somehow, I don't know how Monolith does it, even with the small team dedicated for just this remake, they have a way of saying you are severely underleveled. And by the time you're done doing the things you need to do, or figuring out how to replay the game again, because how this game is played is basically you depend upon Nopon to enhance your abilities in combat. By the time you figure out how that works, nothing's a challenge anymore, with the exception of one unique monster in that game. And the way that they teach you by failing, is one of those. It's almost like Xenoblade has become its own roguelike. So I'm always addicted to that, and I've been biased to that type of gameplay style since this franchise was created on Wii. So I'm obviously going to give that one the upper hand. But what actually topped it this year came out of nowhere. And I had an idea that I would like it, but I was so pleasantly surprised. And it technically counts as an indie game. And I've talked about this a lot. Streets of Rage 4. I can't put it down. I cannot put it down. It is absolutely addicting, like old school crack. I can't describe how it feels. I haven't been that addicted to a game, and I mean, like, other than, doing stuff like, hey, because it takes a long time to unlock Cosmos or whatever, that's different. This is literally, you've played this game, you know what's going to happen, you've already beat it multiple times, and you still want to do it again, like repeatedly over and over again. Each and every interaction with an enemy is downright crack, and I haven't played a beat 'em up that plays that well in so long. That is by far my game of the year. Like, I don't think anything really touches that, especially from a gameplay aspect, which is what we should focus on most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think anything comes close. I've never.
See.
Yeah, I've never been this
include that in
addicted.
my list too, and I realized it before you started talking. I was like, I'll let you finish.
Not since Killer Instinct 2 have I been that addicted to a gameplay loop.
See. Here's the problem, man. Until you give me Skate and Streets of Rage 4 version of Shiva, you're not my game of the year. Streets Lizard Cube. No, I'm playing. I'm joking.
But they gave you almost everything though.
They did. They
really did. They even though they really should have gave us Streets of Rage 4 Shiva.
Yes.
They should have. And Max.
Yeah, and Max. They're both in there. So you better not make me pay for it. That better be free DLC. You better not make me pay for it.
Well, no. It'd be a different story if they did like a DLC story pack and then added those characters in with it.
Yeah.
But
you better not make me pay for it.
But if they just throw the characters in, if they're just giving you the characters, nah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's just I can't describe it. I don't know how else to say it other than I'm hooked and I'm addicted. Like, I play other games and I play through them and I fight the urge to not play Streets of Rage 4 to finish these games. Like, I'm playing all the Final Fantasy Collection games right now because it's just awesome to have all these games on one platform finally. So I'm trying to go through those and I fight the urge. Anytime I get to any type of stopping point where that, hey, well, this is the grind part. This is going to suck. Let me pause and go play something else. That thing is going to be Streets of Rage 4 every single time. Like, I have problems playing other consoles because of this game. I just happen to get it on Switch. It's on literally everything, including the Mac. But whatever console I would have gotten on, that would have got the most play this year because Streets of Rage 4 is it. And man,
it doesn't help that it's one of those games that you can complete in 2 hours too. It doesn't. That also doesn't help it because you're like, okay, I can get a quick couple rounds in. Yep. I got an hour to burn.
It's designed so well for it. And the only thing I'm thinking that there is 1 4-player online instead of just 2, and cross-play.
Yeah, they got to be coming. They has to be coming because there has been rumors that there is a DLC happening with that game. They just haven't revealed it yet.
If they hope do there is 4-player, I don't think that's going to come to Switch since the consoles are all wireless. And so the issue with that is you got to deal with people's upstream. And the average person does not know how to set up a wireless survey. Like, majority of these people are playing on 2.4 gigahertz, and it's going to be slow. It's already bad with 2 players. So
yeah. I mean, you have to, and most of these people are in areas where they can't properly set one up anyway. Now, people won't admit it, but they're in situations where, okay, your bandwidth is only going to allow for like 10 things, period, anyway. And you catch hell when your mama come over and her tablet is on your wireless. So
Now, what they can do though, which is awesome, and I've seen other developers do, they can do 4-player LAN play co-op. So you can do it that way, and you could do that and play against somebody else online or whatever. Like say you have two people playing locally, and then y'all join against one other player online for 3-player or whatever. That's still a thing. Switch can do that. It's versatile to be able to do that kind of stuff. So I think if they think about it the right way, they could do it that way. So then you could still technically have your 4-player online, 3 locally, and 1 online.
Honestly, with the Switch, they could do 8-player local for that game if they were really going to push it.
If they wanted to, yeah. But they at that point they're trying to bank on how many people would use it and who would have their internet set up right to make that.
No, I'm just talking local for Switch itself.
Local. They could probably do that. I mean, all 8 characters on screen.
Smash Brothers has proven that. Masahiro Sakurai, you are a genius.
Yes.
So all right, so games that lived up to the hype in 2020. One of mine is Streets of Rage 4. That game completely lived up to the hype. I mean, without
it didn't look like it at first. When I first saw it, I was like, "What are y'all promising?" And I don't know about this art style. And then
and then you played it. It's Wind Waker all over again. And then you played it.
The moment you felt it, it was different. When you got to actually play it and get a feel for the game, and then you was like, "Oh, okay, I see how this works." And now you just got dragged into it until you just couldn't stop until you actually beat it that first time.
The complete opposite of Battletoads.
And then you realize they made Axel real damn slow, and you got to do this with Blaze until you get Axel
is legitimately the worst character in that game.
Yeah,
hold on. Axel always was, wasn't he?
Streets of Rage 4 Axel is legitimately the worst character in that game.
I always thought he was never really appealing to me.
When it came down to the first game, he was the worst by balance, but he was decent. The second game and the third game, he teetered on being the best character. I still think Blaze was better, but he teetered on being the best character. This game, it's like he was the slowest moving. When you have a man bigger than him that walks slower, his attacks had the least amount of range. His combos were the easiest to break. He was super basic, even though he had the flashiest set of moves. He was super basic.
Now, to be completely fair, I found that if you played with him with other people, he kind of works. But playing single player,
he's like, if we were to say they were singing, Axel's the harmonizer.
Versus a soloist at all. Yeah.
Now another game I think lived up to the hype, that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Basically because I didn't think they were going to throw it in the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 engine. And it worked. And
they did.
I was pleasantly surprised. And I liked the stuff they added to it, like the things with the map. Because if you played that original on the Wii, and even the one on the 3DS, it's so much easier to find stuff in that game now than it was originally. Like, I probably spent about 100 hours on the Wii just trying to find stuff. We're not talking about the game. I'm just trying to find stuff.
Lost.
Well, some of that stuff was limitations too. You talking about 88 megs of RAM? Stuff pops up only when you get close to it, so you don't really. Basically. You have to know the exact location of some stuff, some items, because that little. Basically, it was just a sprite at a lot of the times with the stuff that you were collecting. So, having it in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 engine is
miles better. Heaps and miles better. So I actually enjoyed it. And now here's a game that I love to play, but it's an indie. But if you did not grow up with Kung Fu Theater, you're probably not gonna like it. But I love it, and I play it all the time. And that's Shaolin versus Wu-Tang.
So I gotta
play that.
Yeah, bruh. The second one just released on Steam, from what I understand, and I'm like, they got to bring this over once, because it's out on Switch and PC. So, I enjoy it. It's a whole hell of a lot of fun, and it's pleasantly surprised me. But then again, I remember Kung Fu Theater at 12 o'clock after cartoons went off.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember those movies. So if you play the game, you'll recognize some of the characters, a lot of the characters. If you're a fan of Kung Fu Theater, I nerd out on that. Yes. So you.
How did I miss this game? It came out in 2016.
It came out on Steam in 2016. I think 2 came out. The beta went out on 2 in like 2018 or 2019. I think last year it went live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the first one. I want to play the second one. So the first one is on Switch, and I want to say it's like $9.99. It's not that expensive. Graphically, it does. It's not. It's not one of those games. It's like graphically beautiful or whatever. But it to me it works because they use the film grain to make it look like the '70s and the early '80s. So it works to me. And that soundtrack is bumping. If you like the Kung Fu Theater style music,
I
especially
like what
Jim
I see.
Kelly's. Yeah, especially that Jim Kelly's Harlem soundtrack.
I'm just scrolling and I like what I see already. And then Shaolin versus Wu Tang 2
Yep,
looks like it's the
it's
evolution
legit.
of that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like it looks legit. So if you are a fan of that genre, I suggest you guys take a look at it. Also, you can find a gameplay vid on my gaming YouTube channel, G Black Gaming. Shameless plug 2021. Yeah, so you can check that out. There was a couple other games that I thought were actually pretty decent. I would be remiss if I did not say this. Final Fantasy VII Remake I thought was okay. I had issues with it. It did it live up to the hype? Yes and no to me. Yes, it did. In the fact that I'm like, okay, they brought it back. It looks great. I can't complain about that. It didn't to me, and they took the first 5 hours of the game and bloated it out to 40 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't tell me how many chapters you have, and you think I'm finna just keep spending $60 for 5 hours and you blow them out. No, I'm not doing that. Square Enix. So yeah, thank you, but until you lay out what your plan is, I'm probably not jumping back in that hole. Because I was thinking just from my thought process, since the first game was I think it was 3 discs. I was thinking it's
Yeah.
going to be a disc. That's how they were going to set it up. Something
That's
to
how they
that.
made it sound.
Yeah, something to that effect. But no, this was the first 5 hours of the original, bloated out to 40. And like I said, while it looked good, and I did like some of the changes but I didn't like them bringing Sephiroth in off the rip because I was like, no, dude,
But
like
yeah,
I should not be seeing this dude right now.
you don't actually see him until after you leave Midgar.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you saw him in the first hour of the game.
It's like you don't legitimately see him until I think the beginning of the second disc.
Yeah,
But you don't
Hmm.
actually see him until you get out of Midgar and they do the flashbacks.
yeah. So, I mean, did I like it? Yeah. Did I think it lived up to the hype? I have to say yes, it did in certain areas. Because it did. I mean, even though some of that stuff was kind of weird with the whole Harry Potter isms in there,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But it's cool to relive those moments
yeah,
though in a
it
different
is, it is,
engine.
it is. Um, Another one that I think lived up to the hype, like you said, Shadow Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah,
you
that
talk
game
about
lived
the
up to the hype.
biggest. Ooh, that's the biggest snub. Like, ooh, man.
That was the
Yeah,
I,
game that probably should have won Game of the
I'm
Year.
really,
if you talking about NFL Pro Bowl votes, that's the biggest snub.
I'm really gonna need Jeff Keighley to stop talking after his game awards. Just when people start, just don't say nothing, bro.
Just
Just
leave
don't
it
say
be.
nothing.
You only digging a bigger hole.
Yeah, you just digging yourself. You do not know how to handle when people ask you questions about stuff that they clearly have that it clearly looks bad and is worthy of being questioned. I'll
Yes.
just leave it at that. I gotta leave it at that.
If he just wanted to snub them that bad, he could have threw in Miles Morales to buffer
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of
something.
because we knew what his favorite was gonna be, and we knew why,
Yeah,
and he couldn't say Death Stranding anymore, so
yeah.
so he had to go with Naughty Dog. So it's just
And
I
you would,
don't what kind of weird bias do you have to have when you can clearly see and I know the goal is, hey, well, this team needs to be recognized for all the work that they did, and that's not to knock on them. We know they worked hard. There are many complaints about it online.
yeah,
um, but when you talk about the work of a team where their whole goal from the beginning was to make this game look the way that it was, with regards to Last of Us 2, and then you look at Ghost of Tsushima and it's literally like, hey, the last couple of games y'all made were a completely different genre. Here you go. And then they show a trailer and I'm like, there's no way that the final game looks like that. And then you get the final game and it's like,
and it looks better.
yes.
It
And
pulled
that's
the game
usually
thing.
only a Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
And man, and not just better in terms of visuals, like just everything had utility. So I don't know how.
Plus, there was too much
In Last of
controversy
Us,
around Last of Us 2. There was way too much controversy around
yeah,
Last of Us 2. Way too much. Half of the team leave. How can you sit there and say, "Oh, we love the team that worked on this"? I'm like, yeah, half of them ain't even there. What are you talking about? I'm like, so yeah,
and if Naughty Dog didn't fire him, Sony was at some point. So
somebody did. Yeah, so it was just way too much stuff around that, and I and we've all had our say about the Game Awards, but I think once again, I think it's completely lazy when you got the same 6 games in every damn category.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
extremely
completely
lazy.
damn lazy. So
I kind of knew what it was going to be when the nominees for the best streamers were all people that already had successful platforms and just magically showed up.
yeah,
So I'm just like, wait, so let me get this straight. You already have several million followers and you created a YouTube channel and magically you're an instant hit.
yeah,
Gee, I wonder how. So it's just, and there's so many other popular streamers like that interact with said individuals. That should have gotten a nod. That literally are streamers only or are only YouTubers only type situation. They don't have a hand in the industry, kind of deal. So, other than them getting sent free games, I guess.
yeah.
And that's a rarity now.
Yeah, it was
Either
just
way, yeah.
that whole scenario with that game is kind of gross, and that whole game award show is kind of gross. And I just when did it become okay to say you're a game dev if you're only a writer on the team? Is that
It's never
is that
been
a
okay.
thing?
It's never been okay. But I think
Game developer
it
means you
depends on
write,
you
code,
code,
or design.
that it depends on the situation. Like if your writing influences the design of the game, then yeah. But if not, no.
yeah, because usually it's separate. Like, for instance, like Halo 5, their writer was not part of because he wrote the actual books that went
Mm-hmm.
along with Guardians, and then he wrote Guardians. So
Yeah.
it's one of them situations, and I think the problem that's happening is because we're going toward that we want to be so realistic that we're now getting into that space of okay, we actually hired real novel writers to come in and do because Gears have them, Halo has them.
hmm
Um,
That was smart on Halo though, because they got to keep that continuity, even though Bungie left. So
yeah, in
Yep.
line. So you starting to see that now, and even the Tom Clancy stuff. Half of those Tom Clancy games are books or short stories written by Tom Clancy. The
Yeah.
Division was actually written by Tom Clancy, and I'm sitting there like I thought that was would have been a movie back in the '90s, and it was.
hmm
So they just moved into a video game. So I mean, I think that's where we're going. So when you say it like that, it kind of because especially if they're in the process with the dev team for 2-3 years, telling them no, you can't do this. Okay, you can do this. I can see how they can say that, but to me, no, they should be separate. Just because if you're writing the story and you are right, that's your focus. That's not coding and art and all of that stuff. But that's just my way my brain processes it. So
yeah, I can even see a project manager taking credit as a developer because you are directly responsible for overseeing and making sure the flow of the project is well wound. Like it could easily fall apart if you've got guys over here working on some stuff that has nothing to do with the end state of the game, just because they think it's cool.
yeah.
So I could
That
see,
sounds like the Master Effect Andromeda team.
that's you'll see some stuff and they'll get because nerds are nerds, so they're like, hey, we're supposed to be working on these jumping animations over here and the way the physics work, but no, we found a way to completely retool Havoc and we're going to use that for other. But wait, that's scope creep. Like, what are we doing? So I definitely see the importance of a project manager. I mean, they're every part of a developer as individuals writing code, but I don't know about a writer. I mean, at that point, you could just say a voice actor is too. So
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
No,
especially
but
like I said,
I would say with the case of voice actors, their roles are more shaped by the game than the game is shaped by their role.
true,
that's true. That's true. That's true.
true. And it would
Because
depend on the game too,
yeah,
because if you're a story writer for a fighting game, nah, you're not a
nah,
developer.
no, you're
Mm.
But
not.
for something maybe
You're a
like a Naughty Dog
storyboarder.
game, I could see if the game is everything that you write at some point has to be visualized in the game. Yeah, I
Yeah,
Yeah,
guess I
yeah,
can see.
because that's just the point where we're at now.
yeah.
Unfortunately,
Plus a lot of writers are on development teams. They're not just
Yeah,
someone writing for the team and they're a separate entity. That's
that used to
probably
be a
more
thing.
where
It
yeah,
used to be a person that wrote a script and then sent it. Like,
yeah. That's probably where it's more now since the writers are part of the team. They're on the team.
mhm.
They would be credited as developers because they're helping with the development process. They're not just somebody just snatching their story and then throwing it into a game.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting into the progressively worse portion of the podcast.
Uh,
Um, games that didn't live up to the hype. Now I'm gonna talk about one that I've played. I can't talk about the games I didn't play, but there have been some issues. There was some controversies this past year. Y'all know that. But the one I played, Square Enix, to hell with you, the Marvel's Avengers, man. How you gonna do? I'm so glad Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo basically were like, we finna make bank at 2019 E3 because what the hell? Really, Square Enix? Really?
yeah. So
Really?
Ultimate Alliance was supposed to be horrible because
It was supposed to be
it looked
horrible.
worse.
Ultimate Alliance is actually, I think
And
Ultimate Alliance
when
has
did it look?
sold more than them.
Hold on. When did Ultimate Alliance look worse?
No, that's what the
You know,
consensus was
yeah.
until they saw that first trailer at the end of that thing in 2019, and then Nintendo moved Ultimate Alliance to the front of the treehouse.
So apparently the status quo, the Overton window, means that if there are higher res textures on any type of polygonal object, it means that the gameplay is going to be better. That's what we're. Oh, that games look like
People
trash.
didn't
So
learn
you
that
mean
back
it looks
during the
like it's not
PS2
fun,
era.
or
Look,
yeah,
all I'm gonna say
yeah,
is
you're right.
all I'm gonna say about Marvel's Avengers is this: you cannot be Destiny in a superhero game. Okay, you tried to make a Destiny style game with superheroes.
Which Destiny is just
You idiots.
Just make an
Destiny is
MMO.
just
Like,
bootleg Halo.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really what it is. So my thing is, now don't get me wrong, I like the idea of a Marvel adventure game, but what y'all did wasn't it.
yeah.
So it kind of has me. I was so glad the X-Men are not involved in this. I am so glad the X-Men are not involved
That
in
would have
this.
hurt your.
They have enough pain as it is. They don't need any
Yeah,
more.
but like I said, like the X-Men in Ultimate Alliance, hey, I'm fine with that. But I'm so glad they're not involved in this.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, keep them out. But knowing Square Enix, they finna drop an X-Men pack. But
We kind of saw that coming though, because when we saw the reveal, and I'm like, y'all didn't show any gameplay. Then when they showed the gameplay, I'm just like, okay. And then so what are we supposed to do? So I'm Hulk now, and I'm going through all kind of invisible walls because he's too big for the stage, and people are supposed to be fighting me, and I'm doing combos. I just broke something, but then it reappeared because y'all didn't write the engine well as far as the physics goes. So if you make graphics your focus, and then you still have those kind of anomalies, and then and it still doesn't look fun. I don't. Yeah, there's just one of those things where, and then beggars can't be choosers at that point, because if you only have a PlayStation or whatever, then you're gonna pick that game, because why should you spend $300 to play the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game? But I think I'm glad that certain people understand what things are priority. So like,
and you would think because it's Square Enix and I want to say former members of the Crystal Dynamics team.
mhm.
You would think they would actually be able to do this, but the problem is we've had Arkham Asylum, we've had good superhero adventure games, and that
Tomb Raider.
Gotham Knights looks phenomenal. And they even did what was an 8-minute deep dive
Mm-hmm.
into it, and I'm like, bruh, they just killed you. They just ended you. So you got Marvel Ultimate Alliance that was just went beyond expectations when it wasn't supposed to be quote unquote that good, and then DC drops their next iteration of what they plan on doing with the Batman family, and you're just sitting there looking at it like,
Yep. Warner Brothers
yeah, bro,
partnering. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm sitting there like, man, look, um, Marvel, y'all need to do something. But now the Spider-Man games, awesome. They're awesome, but
Disney has never really wanted to put money in that kind of stuff. They took a step back even with Star Wars. So
yeah. Well, Star Wars, they kind of that whole Battlefront, EA kind of, yeah. I can't get mad at Disney for that because of that whole Battlefront 2 fiasco that they had to kind of try to, because everybody was looking at them because that's the game that came out when they fully owned it. So, and all them EA shenanigans.
the irony is apparent. DC movies, Marvel movies. DC games,
yeah,
Marvel games.
yeah. So
other than Ultimate Alliance, what do you have? Like,
yeah, you really don't. And I not, and you know me, I've been advocating for an X-Men game because I'm like they should have never stopped at the X-Men Legacy, X-Men Legends, in my opinion.
I'm wondering what took so long with Spider-Man. You had Batman as
Template.
literally that was the template for you to use, like right there.
Yeah. So so that game to me did not live up to the hype. Now I can't talk about Cyberpunk because I didn't play it. I can't talk about Last of Us because I didn't play it. I refused to play Last of Us 2 because I thought Last of Us, the first one, was just okay. But I can talk about Marvel Avengers because that was some bullshit. That was some that was not pleasant. And also I didn't.
It's pleasant if you pay for the extras.
Well, here's the other problem too, because I pre-ordered the game so I could get into the beta. I got into the beta. I went out after the beta was over. I thought I canceled my game. Square Enix made it where they had already you had already paid for it, and it didn't show up. And I'm sitting there like, no, I didn't. And I'll go back and look, and lo and behold, yes, I did. Now Sony makes you jump through hoops to get get that situation taken care of. So I just said the hell with it and just went on and kept it. But I was mad about that as well because if I have to pre-order it just so I can play the beta, but I can't,
you can't retro it back.
Cancel after you see that you don't like
that's kind of that's extremely anti-consumer because you're literally stealing the bread. Like, I mean. But and probably somewhere in the EULA there, they covered themselves with their lawyers. Probably
they probably did. Mm-hmm. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna. I just charged to the game. But I will say this. Can somebody else get that license, please? Sorry, Square Enix. Yeah. Can somebody else get that license? I want to see somebody else do it. I don't want to see y'all do it no more. Or at the very least, don't try to actually make an actual adventure game with the story.
Make the game based on what the characters can do instead of making a game based on what you think is going to be popular.
Yeah, don't do that. Just I don't know.
Like true to the source. Like if you're gonna make a game, about these superheroes, build it around their abilities and how they can use it in their environment. And if you don't have enough time and talent to do all these individual superheroes, then don't put them in there. Focus on like 8 or whatever you need to do and make 8 complete gameplay sections that showcase what they can do. And then have one gameplay session that's literally a sandbox where all 8 of them can work together. Make that the final level or what have you. Like I don't...
It's Avengers. You don't have to have all of the Avengers. All you needed was 5, maybe 6. You ain't gotta have everybody. Just take the starting 5 from the movie. I know people gonna be mad, but
you can always add it in a sequel or with DLC. Yeah. Like just make it good first.
Yeah, make it good. Don't try to tick off check boxes. Make it good. Because to be honest, To be honest, the best character to me on that game is Captain America. Tony is hard. It's weird
But
to
he
play as
wasn't the
Tony.
focus though. Hulk was the focus, wasn't it? I
Kind of,
believe. I believe
kind of.
he was the focus originally.
And Hulk is supposed to be this, and I think the other thing that killed it. A lot of people played that Hulk game back on GameCube and Xbox in Generation
Ultimate
6.
Destruction.
Yeah. Ultimate Destruction.
That game was perfection. You play with Hulk in this, you're gonna be like,
yeah. So y'all just muted me, huh? Y'all pulled a Samus. You can't use your powers here.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, that's not Hulk. So, I mean, it's one of those situations. And now they're trying to, they're throwing in Kate Bishop. They throwing in, they're supposed to be throwing in Black Panther. I don't think that's gonna help. I really don't think that's gonna help.
That's not.
So,
if they put those characters in there and they don't work well, people are just gonna be mad.
Yeah, they're just gonna be upset. So it's not helping the situation, in my opinion. So yes, that's my game that did not live up to the hype that I played. Do y'all have any?
That didn't live up to the hype this year?
Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
That I played now.
I'm typically I'm frugal with that kind of stuff because I see the writing on the wall now. I typically don't jump.
Like I said, I got tricked into this Marvel's Avengers mess. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted now.
Got swindled.
I got swindled. So
maybe Last of Us 2. That's the closest, but I can't say that's bad. What they aimed to do, they did. They did do it.
Mediocre.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, if that's because that's what I'm saying. Like for me, that's why I didn't even pick it up because I thought the first one was just okay. It wasn't that. It wasn't just, oh my God, it's so groundbreaking and touching. I'm like, no, it's the road.
And then it wouldn't be truthful for me to say that either because the main thing I liked about Last of Us was upgrading and being able to max yourself out, and that's still there. Okay. So I don't know if I can really say it's a disappointment though because for what I was gonna play it for, that's what it was. Okay, that's there.
So, yeah, if that's what it is, that's fine. I mean. It's just one of those situations where I know that Avengers game didn't even come close to it, and I'm just.
I never really took their story serious anyway, and then the way that the last game ended was perfect to me. So them trying to continue it, I knew they were going to force a lot of stuff that didn't need to be there. So I'm like, well, I'm here kind of just to kill these spores and these crazy men.
So you walked into it like that Mad TV skit with the lowered expectations.
Yep, lowered expectations. I'm here for the gameplay, baby.
Yeah. All right, Jay, you got one?
Nope.
You don't?
Everything that I played this year that I seriously got into, I actually liked.
Okay, cool.
So, last year at this point.
This is what I want my 2021 to be like, because I'm not doing that anymore. Like I'm gonna be very skeptical. If I see a trailer, if I see one thing off in the trailer, nope, not getting it. Yep. I'll just wait.
Especially if it's gonna be $15 by November. Like,
yeah, I'm just gonna wait. I mean, that's where I'm at right now.
Game came out in September at $70.
Yeah,
it's going to have a $50 price drop by November.
No. Y'all forgetting the biggest one. Immortal Rises of Phoenix came out December 3rd, was half price Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
I'm like, Ubisoft, see, this is why people be saying everybody need to have price drops, because Ubisoft will do that for 2 weeks, and that's just going to be right back up. Yep. And everybody think, oh, well, why isn't the price drop yet?
They think that, they think that them fishing people out for that week means that the game is in demand now, so it'll sell at a premium. No, it never was going to sell at a premium because that game isn't. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. There's a reason why Nintendo doesn't do it for 5 years. Hell, like some games, they still kept that $50 on Wii all the way to the end. So, yeah, I mean,
hell, Smash Brothers on Melee was still going for $40.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
I'm like, okay. I think Nintendo took off $10 and that's it.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I think, was $50 all the way up until 2020.
Yeah, it was.
And that's just, God, that is a strong brand.
Or if you were at GameStop, it was $47.99.
Oh yeah, you know how they do. That's what they do. That's they're the 59.9 frames per second of gaming prices.
Okay, so we got to talk about gaming controversies because there were a metric ton of them in 2020. Um, my personal favorite was Last of Us 2. That's my personal favorite.
That was when everybody
But
got the popcorn out for.
the one that really got my popcorn, gave me the popcorn moment was Cyberpunk 2077, boy.
Ooh. And
Because now two of the investors are suing the CD Projekt Red.
don't
You
we
know
even?
something?
How do we knew this was coming though? Like I don't.
Here's the
You,
problem. Here's the problem. The game should have not come to console yet. It should have just came out on PC because they built it for PC. So you put it out
It's
on
like all the
PC
Witcher games.
and
Yep.
just be like, look, it's out on PC now. We are looking into porting it. That's what they should have said from jump. Yes, the PC elitists was gonna brag and boast.
Mhm.
Fine, who cares? But you wouldn't have had these problems. The problem is CD Projekt Red is, I think they're publicly traded now, so they actually have investors they have to report to and shareholders they have to report to, and they was like, y'all putting this out on everything, which is
Man.
why it got delayed the first time because it wasn't running on the PS4 and the Xbox One X. It wasn't running properly,
that's the
and
problem. It was advertised for those platforms.
Yes.
yeah,
And
it
that's
was.
gross.
It's the
Yeah.
same situation with Slightly Mad Studios,
Yep.
Project
For
Cars.
Wii
It
U.
was
Project Cars,
originally
yeah.
promoted for the Wii U,
Mhm.
and then they just canned it. That's why
Yeah.
everybody was mad.
Yeah.
For these
That's
two
why I couldn't.
platforms, it was originally promoted for them.
Yeah. Now I will say this: once you have to worry about shareholders and all that, that's an extra added layer of because they don't care. Like those are bean counters. They don't care. They don't care that it's not working. They don't care. They don't care. The only thing they
Yep.
care about is what my bonus gonna look like
Yep.
in
ROI.
this investment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a damn about you. I don't give a damn about crunch. I don't give a damn about your personal life. I don't care if you got a family.
Yep.
What is my, you know, check gonna look like at the end of the year? And it better look good.
So I guess the interesting thing was some of the damage control they tried to do. They tried
Yeah.
to talk about how, oh well, yeah, these are older consoles and the newer consoles be better, what have you, and then the
And
same problems are on the newer consoles.
yep.
And then you're like, it's clearly optimization for them, and it's clearly development work because you can play Cyberpunk in lower settings on PC and it's
Hmm.
fine. The
Yeah.
assets move the way that they need to, and everything runs as expected. On these, man, the game's broke.
Yeah.
The console's game's broke.
That's why they
Falling
just
through
should
the
have said
floor, like
this year. What should have happened when they before they did that first delay, the first big delay, they should have said, look, that's when they should have came out with the statement and just straight up told people, look, the console versions were just gonna have. This should have been transparent. A lot of people get mad at Nintendo for that, but Nintendo came out and straight up said, "Look, we had to scrap Metroid Prime 4 and had to
yep,
give it back to Retro. Y'all gonna be mad. Y'all gonna get over it. Here goes some Smash Brothers. Shut up." So,
yep,
but this is what we gonna have to do. We ain't really give y'all a trailer. We just gave y'all Adobe Photoshop with some atmospheric music, and y'all got hype.
yep.
Ain't nobody tell you. Look,
But
we just gave y'all a Photoshop picture and y'all got happy. So don't get mad at us. We
this
tried
is
something new. It didn't work. We got it. We're giving it back to the people we should have gave it to begin with. That was on us.
mhm.
That was on us. Our bad. They got it now. Now wait till they get done with it. So
Retro's like, we already had a script and story ready. All we
Yeah.
needed them to say
So
they
that's
want us to do it.
yeah, and that was the thing. So that's why I've always said I think that Metroid Prime 4 is probably coming this year anyway because they didn't get rid of all them assets. They said they're starting from scratch, but I never believed they're starting from
No.
true scratch.
They're
where-
rebuilding them kind of. So you go
Yeah.
in Photoshop and then you can
Yeah.
scale since a lot of this stuff is
Because if the
is
story's
ras-
already done, the
Yeah.
story's already done, that's half the battle right there. The story's already done. So now, and since Retro got I don't know how many employees, it seems like 2 million,
Mhm.
they should be good because they hire people all the time. So
if their art team was smart and they made all their art with vectorized graphics, it's you
Yeah.
go into Photoshop and you just increase the size. Like it shouldn't even be a big deal for anything high resolution at all. I
So-
don't think it should be a problem.
I don't either. That's why I think that's one because we're about to go into predictions in a little bit, but that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I brought that up, because sometimes it's a bad idea to, if you already know your game's jacked, you just need to go on and just tell people off the rip. That's why I said CD Projekt Red, when that first one, I think was when July was when the 1st one, they should have said something then. It should be like, look, console players, we're gonna have to push this back indefinitely. PC people, y'all gonna be ready to go, because that's what it was. That way they could have still put it out on time. The shareholders are still happy because people gonna buy the game. The shareholders are still gonna be happy, and that gives you enough time to work on stuff you need to work on. And then if you can't get it to work on Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, then just be like, look, the technology on these systems are outdated. We had to move it over here. If you had a pre-order, we are automatically upgrading it to PS5 and Series S and X.
I think that was kind of good too with what Bethesda did with Doom Eternal for Switch. They just didn't say anything. They're like, look, we don't have nothing yet, so we're not saying nothing about it yet. We're not going to sit here and show you these PC assets or whatever and then say it's coming for Switch. And then they're like, look, it's not ready, so we're going to delay it or it's going to come out at a later time or whatever. And whenever the port house is ready to share more information, they will. And they made their own tweet and they're like, hey, here it is, ready to go. And people are like, this is amazing.
And then, but the only problem with that was they gave us a week to get ready. Hey, remember when y'all was complaining about Doom Eternal? Yeah, that's gonna be out next week. All right, anybody want to play Smash? anybody? We about to have an inter-office tournament.
It's like, but we didn't have time enough to bitch that it's not on a cartridge. We didn't have enough time.
Look, don't worry about that. Does anybody want to come on Twitch and jump into the Developer Smash tournament we got going on right now? What?
And that's so amazing because that cut a lot of YouTubers off at the knees because they couldn't really get time to bitch about it not being a cartridge because they were going to be buying it the next week because they gotta review it or whatever. So
they came out with that tweet and next Tuesday the game dropped. Because when the tweet came out, the trailer came out and it dropped that next Tuesday. I think it was December 8th. I think it was. I'm like, what the world? Nobody could say nothing. That's how they're
going to support it. So they're going to continue to put out patches and stuff to improve performance even more.
Even though I've heard people say that they loving it.
Yeah.
They loving it on the Switch. They love it. Now, the same thing can go for Bayonetta 3. Some of y'all just need to shut the hell up before Kamiya come through that computer and slap some of y'all.
If he said the game is going smooth, it's going smooth.
Okay. It's going smooth. Okay. Let that man work. So let's go into these
situation. Hold on. Wasn't the situation with Bayonetta 3 the same situation with Shin Megami Tensei?
Yep.
They showed a little trailer, put a name up, didn't hear anything about the game until right before they decided that they wanted to bring it out.
Yeah.
And then they ended up showing that you had 2 games coming.
Yeah. Because I think with the Shin Megami thing, it came out during the sizzle reel for the Switch, which came out in January 2017.
Yep.
And did not say nothing else till 2019. But see, this is the same thing that happened with Bayonetta 2 on Wii U. They had that first trailer where you see the bullets and you see Balder do his little Matrix shit. And that was 40 seconds. That was it. You ain't hear nothing else till the game released in 2014. Because at E3 that year, that's when they dropped the trailer.
And somebody put this up, and I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was on Twitter or on YouTube. I think it was both. Bayonetta 2 is a Christmas game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. She's Christmas shopping at the beginning. Rodon had the Santa outfit on. It's a Christmas game that happened during Christmas.
Yeah.
And that game is really well made. The demo itself is
bonkers.
Yeah. And then there's so much stuff to do after you beat the game. Yeah. The original Bayonetta, all you could really do was go for better scores kind of situation. And then there's that one little test your might kind of level that you can continue fighting endless enemies or whatever. That's on 10 in the second game. So, I mean, as long as they do something similar to that in the third game, I'll be fine more than anything else. So that it scratches my Devil May Cry itch, and that works for me.
Look, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for that side story game for Jean for that period of time where Cereza was knocked out. I'm still waiting on it.
What she did, what went on with her. So I smell that Bayonetta Warriors game coming up. No,
I mean she was literally in hell during that point. So yeah, Interesting.
The end of the Warriors, 2022. So predictions for this year. Now, this year is going to be a little bit weird because a lot of games did get pushed out of 2020 because of of the COVID in the streets. So this is my only concern, and I hope this doesn't happen because I don't want companies to cannibalize themselves because I know that if you listen to the fan base, you're gonna hear a lot of people say, "We want this right now." You ain't got enough money to pay for all these games that's supposed to drop. So please don't cannibalize yourself. So if Bayonetta 3 was supposed to come out in 2021 anyway, I would not be mad if it got pushed to 2022 because No More Heroes 3, probably Breath of the Wild 2, or Metroid, those three are probably coming this year. And I know for a fact No More Heroes 3 was supposed to come out last year.
Because I'm almost hoping that Metroid Prime 4 doesn't come out until next year because I need the time. Like there's other games that's gonna be coming. So
so Breath of the Wild, something Zelda is coming, something Metroid is coming this year because that's both of their anniversaries.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking about Metroid's anniversary. I was thinking more Zelda's anniversary.
Yeah, both of them are this year because I think Zelda's anniversary should be like in the spring and Metroid should be like in the summer.
Yeah, I thought Metroid was fall.
It's summer or fall. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, they were both 86, so they're both.
Yeah.
About that time.
So I'm thinking that's why, because like I know a lot of people was like, well, Nintendo hasn't really said anything. Well, that's because I really think that they're not really going to be doing the directs like they have in the past. I think they're going to be more of like we seen now with just a little like news stories or
game directs.
Or straight up game directs because once again, this is whole new leadership. This ain't Iwata and Reggie and all that. This is a completely new team. They may not even like doing that mess. So yeah, we liked it, enjoyed it while it lasted, but sometimes stuff changes. So
Shintaro wins, bro.
Yeah. Now the other thing too is Halo. I'm actually looking forward to Halo for the simple fact that I kind of thought that they weren't going to come out last year after, and it wasn't because of the trailer. Because I thought the trailer was fine because they're changing up the art assets. So I thought the trailer was fine. It's the same thing that happened with Guardians. The multiplayer wasn't working like they wanted it to. And I was like, dude, it's not because of the graphics. Oh, it's because of the graphics, and they listened to the fans. That's why they but no, they didn't.
No,
they didn't.
I
promise you, they didn't.
They really do not need to do a Devil's Third and listen to the fans and redo.
And I think that was smart once they realized that Sony didn't really have anything either. So like as much as they were, Xbox has no games. PlayStation didn't have no games to launch either. Y'all are literally leaning on 2K right now.
Yeah, because I'm sitting up here like, okay, yeah, Miles Morales is fun, but Miles Morales actually plays on the PS4 Pro. It was a freaking DLC expansion. It wasn't that's why it's only 8 to 10 hours. People are like, oh, that's too short. I'm like, it was an expansion. It wasn't a real game. They just broke it off and said, hey, look, play this off as it's a game.
Yep. that was Mark Cerny's experiment, and they're like, make a new game around it because this loads fast. Go.
Yeah.
And
it did, and the game's fun. I'm not gonna lie, the game is actually awesome. I kind of wish they had like a fully fleshed out game with him. But hey, you know what? Hey, take your time.
They do need to do that. That needs to happen.
Take your time because what I want is Into the Spider-Verse. I want all of them. Because once again, and I have to go back to this because it's hilarious. Ultimate Alliance 3, they actually hint at that with Miles, Peter, Gwen. They kind of hinted that the whole spider thing. So I would like to. I wouldn't mind them doing that if that's what they're planning on doing. For 2021 though, I'm really hoping to see, like, I don't want to see cannibalization because of the simple fact that I know how that works. You'll have too many games come out and people ain't gonna have the money to just buy them.
Games will fail.
Yeah, and then you'll be like, oh, well, the games, we putting the games out, but we're not making any money. Yeah, because people having to prioritize.
I think that was Nintendo's issue with 8th generation also, because they they couldn't get the tempo right. They overloaded during launch, then they had nothing for a lot of 2013, and then at the end of 2013 they had 4 releases, and it's like some
But
got to
2014
give.
it was like 10.
Yeah,
So
like you can't do that, and then all of a sudden you go from Wii U has no games, Wii U has too many games. I'm not buying all those at $50 a piece. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then you go on another drought again. Wii U has no games, and I obviously me being the smart person, I'm like, well, you know what? I can only buy a couple of these at a time because I don't even have the time to play them if I had all the money. So I'm like,
that's
well,
the other thing.
I'll buy this first party game, this party game. I'm still buying Wii U games. So it's like you but not every gamer is like that, and the vocal YouTube consensus is gonna say, well, if you don't have 12 fucking releases a month, then you suck or whatever, right?
And I hate that, and I
Yeah.
hate that because we got to be completely honest. A lot of these people that be saying that stuff, they get these games for free.
Yep.
Some of them get these games for free. So them telling you that,
and they don't even play them all.
Yeah. So them telling you that, oh well, we need this and there ain't nothing to play. Yes, there's a lot to play. The problem is you're listening to somebody who, one, they are either a partner or something like that, and they got the game sent to them. When you got Sony, Microsoft, and even Nintendo does this, they send people games. Those people aren't paying for it out of their pocket.
Yep.
So don't let somebody tell you that oh well, yeah, man, we ain't. Where's the next game at? Like, oh, I just got 2.
And let's keep in mind a legit first party effort for both Zelda and Mario launched with the system pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think Mario got the raw deal out of that one too, because a lot of people forgot about Mario Odyssey.
And Mario Odyssey is crazy.
That game didn't get because Zelda was still like the thing, and then Splatoon after that. So
yeah, like they had like hit after hit after hit because it was Breath of the Wild, and to be completely honest, I didn't think Breath of the Wild was gonna sell like it did. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Because most people
that game would have saved Wii U. It would have pushed it at least to 20 million. It would have. I think it really would have pushed. It would have pushed the 20 million because you got 7 million people sitting out there waiting to play that game.
Yeah,
they're literally like, I hate Wii U. Zelda drops. They're like, oh, I gotta buy one though.
And you got some people who probably had sold theirs trying to find one so they can buy it again
for the third time. Let me stop trolling.
What? Huh? I said something. But no, it's one of those things where I think that a lot of games that was probably supposed to come out this year are probably gonna get pushed to next year, and I think that's a smart move. I don't think that's a bad thing. That's a smart move. I still think Nintendo's gonna be selling like hotcakes because the simple fact that you get to carry that Switch wherever you go. And
yep.
I'm gonna pose the question real quick now. So with COVID now and things as far as projects are gonna go are gonna get pushed to the right. Does the successor to Switch get pushed to 2023, 2024 now?
Well, 2023 would have been their 5.
Would have been their 5.
No, 2022 would have been 5.
Yeah, 2023 would be 6.
Will be 6. So it'll probably be the same as the Wii situation, the Wii U, where it was 6 years just because of COVID. Because remember, they said that they were going to do 5.
Yeah.
So
that's their typical cycle. So
yeah, that's their typical cycle. So that's why I think that instead of Metroid being a swan song for the system, I think it's just gonna come out either this year or next year. I think they're gonna make a decision. I still think, because once again it's still rumored that the HD trilogy is done. Metroid Prime trilogy is done. They're just waiting. I'm like, what the hell are you waiting for? But so
they got to put it on the release map, so it can't clash with nothing else.
Yeah,
they're probably waiting to just do one direct out of nowhere and at the end of the direct.
Like Pikmin 4 is still a thing.
Yeah, Pikmin 4 is still a thing as well. So, and I understand why Pikmin 3 came out. I'm like, dude, 13 million versus 65 million counting. Mm-hmm. You do the math. Why are people complaining about? That's why I was like, and I said this on a previous podcast. I'm like, if you're complaining about a company that had a down previous generation system porting a popular game to their new system that is selling out the wazoo, you are a terrible business person and your business would not last.
Sony did it for 3 console generations, and all 3 of them were technically successful. The
Yeah.
PS3 ended up selling the least all the way until the end of the generation. They still sold over 80 million,
Yeah.
and they were like PS2 game port to PS3. Take that same PS2 game that was ported to PS3 and ported to PS4.
Hell, here's the thing about that. Last of Us came out in 2013. They ported that one in 2013 to the PS4. And I heard no complaints.
Well, hold on. They put it out on the PS3, then put it on PlayStation Now on the PS4, then re-released the remastered version of the game on the PS4.
Yep.
All in 2013.
Yep.
But you get mad because Nintendo ported a 6-year-old game off a system that only sold 13 million. Nobody told you had to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's the thing. So personally, I hope, and this goes for Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Please space your stuff out. Now, Microsoft, I'm really gonna need to see what they gonna do because y'all bragged about all them companies y'all bought, and I still don't see jack.
Because they're developing. When they announced that was probably just like Smash Brothers. He's gonna work on this game, and he's like, whoa, wait, what? Y'all didn't even send the email yet. Yes, you're gonna, and it's gonna be a launch for the Wii. And he's like, oh, wait, what? Okay, so they probably found out when Microsoft announced it. They're just like, hey, we have blah 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 blah, go. And then the next Monday they got emails saying these are your new directives. Go. Yeah. Report to this guy. This is your new project. And they've probably been working on it for the past 2 or 3 years.
But we got to see something rare. That trailer they put out this summer for that game that has now lost their director and writer.
I no longer have faith in that studio anymore. I really don't.
None of the people that were there when we were playing on 64 and Super NES and GameCube aren't there anymore.
No.
So it hadn't been the same since 2005, 6.
Yeah, when the Stampers left. That was it.
Because when they left and they did that interview and they were like, we should have never took the money.
Yep.
I'm like, you damn right you should have never took the damn money. We could have been on Perfect Dark 3 right now on Switch because of y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Nintendo was slowly letting them publish their own stuff.
Yeah.
So Conker's Bad Fur Day was not a Nintendo game. Rare published that.
But it was so freaking awesome.
Yes, it was great.
And if you think Nintendo we wouldn't be on Conker's Bad Fur Day 4 by now.
Because you could literally put Conker next to Mario on a box. A kid would be like, ooh, that's a cute squirrel. And then the parent is like, no, it's not.
Oh, hell
I'm
no.
playing that. I'm playing that. You're not playing that.
No, you're not playing that. This ain't for you.
This ain't 12 Tails, son.
Can you imagine Conker in Smash Brothers?
Oh, I could.
That'd be nice.
Smashing people's faces with a beer mug. I could.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, and he could be every type of Mii character too. He could be the gunner. He could have the blade because he can be like he's in Matrix or what have you. Like, man.
And the other thing too, and I didn't think about this till I was playing Rare Replay. Conker is the way you can play the Conker character. You can make him the Deadpool of gaming. Where you
Pretty much
put him in anything.
I mean, he literally is. He really is.
You can make him the Deadpool of gaming. Like the reason why you can put Deadpool on Sesame Street and it'll work.
Yes.
Don't ask me how, but it would.
It would.
And Ryan Reynolds, please don't do that. Don't scare these kids.
He would. He would do it.
Please don't do that.
He would happily do it too.
Yeah. But I mean that's the thing. Like, and I don't think anybody at Microsoft thought this through at all. That's why they just had them working on Connect. I'm like, in avatars. I'm like, do you know what you have?
They own the IPs. It doesn't even have what they're working on any of them. They don't have Rare working on any of those old IPs.
And that's why I'm scared for Perfect Dark. I'm scared because I heard that interview they did with that. I'm scared for Perfect Dark. I am so scared for Perfect Dark right now because I'm like, the first thing y'all should have did is just either do a remake of the original or just scrap it and say this is our stuff. Because the way that conversation went, I'm sitting up here like you finna tick off check boxes, ain't you?
And so this loops back into that whole thing. American developers don't develop like how Japan does. They
Mm-mm.
literally start with a franchise idea and art assets first, and then they try to make a game out of it. Like Nintendo is literally working with colored blocks, and they're like, "Ooh, game." And then once they're done with designing the rest of the game, they figure out what franchise they want that to be. That's not how it works here, unfortunately, or in the West in general. Um, and I think that causes a lot of problems because they hear us say, "Hey, we need another Conquer game or we need another Perfect Dark game," so they literally go and try to make another Perfect Dark game, starting with the art assets and everything, playing
Right.
around and stuff. And I'm like, just make a really good first-person shooter engine first,
Mm-hmm.
and then if that works well, then you're ready to make a Perfect Dark game.
And
I
please
just
don't use
don't.
the Halo engine
Oh no,
for
Please don't.
Perfect Dark. Please don't.
Please
Please
don't.
that
God
would be
don't.
horrible.
And and
Yeah.
and, and you know what we're asking for? What we're asking for was the GoldenEye remake engine on Wii
Yep.
done in HD.
That's
That's
what. Yep.
literally what we're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
GoldenEye 2009 in HD.
In HD. Essentially, yeah. So I'm scared for that. And to your point, this whole and I'm gonna end it on this. This whole F-Zero thing. Can y'all please stop with this? Y'all know y'all ain't gonna play that game. There are a
Nobody
few
buys it.
people. There are a few people who would. Like I would play it. I'm pretty sure Andre play it. I'm pretty sure you play
Oh,
it.
I'll buy it day one.
Yeah, but the problem is the majority of gamers now they wouldn't be able to hack it. I mean,
They don't
if
have the
you do a
patience.
Contra game, if you do a Contra game right now, how many people you think would be able to play that game? To be honest,
These are the same people that say Dark Souls is a hard game.
yeah.
Mm.
Or
This
my
game is
personal
so
favorite,
hard.
or my personal favorite, man. Why is Fast Racing Neo hard? Wait a minute, you having trouble with Fast Racing Neo, but you begging and cussing out Nintendo for F-Zero?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. You can't.
You have no freaking idea. If
F
I'm
Zero is
Nintendo,
pain.
if I'm Nintendo, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, y'all want F-Zero? You really want F-Zero? Okay, all right. Hey, open up that GameCube Virtual Console. Put F-Zero GX first one out. We're gonna
Yep.
find out.
Or
We're gonna
actually
find out.
actually re-release the whole thing and unlock the
Yeah,
other part on the disc and make it F Zero AX.
yeah.
And then they man, we got 30 plus cars out here. You better keep up. Oh, you're 29th place every race. Oh, so sad. So sad. Insert coin.
Yeah, because that and that's the thing. I'm sitting here. I'm thinking. I'm like, if you complaining about and no disrespect to Shinin, because I think they are. If anybody should do it, it should be them.
Yes, it should.
If we're keeping it a buck, if anybody's gonna do F-Zero remake, it should be Shinin. It should not be anybody. Should nobody else touch it. But
Who did the last one? Who did so we know Amusement Vision did the GameCube one. Who did was it Left Field that did the N64 one or was it NST?
I think that was in ST.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know.
The
But
64 was crazy too because that was whew.
yeah, like those games are not easy. Those games are not easy, and I keep hearing all
On
these people.
purpose.
Yeah, and I keep hearing all these people complaining, talking about Nintendo need to revive this franchise. Why don't y'all do it? But then in the same breath, y'all was complaining about Fast Racing Neo being too hard.
Nah, if you can't play Fast Racing Neo, you're not playing F Zero. You're not. Go play Wipeout.
Yeah,
Go play.
I mean, I understand what Miyamoto meant when he's like, look, man, some of this stuff we just don't have ideas for it. We
Yeah.
just don't have ideas. Yeah, we got a lot of IPs, but we don't have ideas for it. That's why Kid Icarus pretty much stayed dormant for 25 years. There was no idea for it.
So what? I mean, what do you do other than you get some team to re-release it in HD? Like,
Yeah.
is that still? Is it going to be worth? Is it going to be worth you spending the money on that project? Because you got to pay somebody to port it, and then is it going to
Well,
make money? Like,
to me, I think their best bet is because I know they keep metrics on the online stuff. So if you're gonna do it, and they like I've
just
been
release it on
saying
eShop.
for years,
Yep.
I was like, look, just release the freaking N64 and GameCube freaking virtual consoles. Just do it. I mean, The reason why I'm mad about the NES and the SNES is those are all the games from the mini.
Yeah.
Those ain't even the games from the Wii U version. So just release them. You already gave us GameCube controllers. If people don't have a GameCube controller, they can easily go to Walmart, Target, Amazon, and buy a GameCube controller because they have them everywhere. They keep them stocked for Smash. So you can easily get a GameCube controller. Release the GameCube online service. I promise you your online subscription will go up. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they can go back and start remanufacturing Wavebirds again. They can do that.
And so now you do that. Now you can keep your metrics. You can see who's asking for what. And if the numbers are up, then I would really think about saying, hey Panda Bunny, come here for a second. Hey, you think y'all can HD up this F-Zero GX? How long do you think it's gonna take? About 5 months. Can y'all knock that out? And then put it on the eShop, like you said. Put it on there for probably about $19.99.
Yep.
I'm being nice. $19.99, and see what happens there. Now, if people buy it, then you go and try to get a true next, game done. But if you don't see no sales, that's the same thing. That's why I don't get mad when Nintendo don't make a Metroid game, because half the people complaining don't ever buy it. So and buying used doesn't help. So if you can't afford it, then you shouldn't be complaining.
Period.
Just keeping it a buck. If you can't afford it, then you shouldn't be complaining, because the only thing that counts when they start counting sales is new. That's why a lot of these companies want to go fully digital, because they know if you buy it digital, that comes to us. That doesn't go to GameStop. That doesn't go to Walmart. That doesn't go to Best Buy. That doesn't go to Target or any of these other places that do resales. It comes straight to us, to the developer. So that's what it is. So I mean,
Metroid Prime is still the best-selling Metroid game,
even with all the damn problems they had, because I hated all that trekking we had to do.
That was on GameCube.
Yeah,
that was. That's
GameCube. Why I always say Corruption is the better one, because I got tired of walking all the way all over the place. That got annoying quick.
And that's crazy, because Corruption, it's what, the third or fourth best-selling console of all time?
Yeah. And
it sold less than a GameCube game.
Yeah.
So we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. Like
yeah. That's why I didn't get mad. That's why I never got mad when they didn't have one for the Wii U, because I'm like, y'all got mad at freaking Other M, and Other M had a amazing gameplay. That's how I knew half of y'all didn't play the game. Y'all was just complaining about the story. So you saw somebody else play it, and you got mad because they're like, well, this ain't what we wanted. Y'all told Nintendo it should be fully voice acted, even though you don't realize that Samus is normally by herself the entirety of the game, which means she's going to be talking to who? Unless they go put somebody in the suit, an AI in the suit, which Nintendo was not going to do. They might do it now because of the whole Iron Man thing. They might do it now.
Yeah, they're like, why is this chick talking to herself? Like, wait, what?
Yeah, like, you don't realize she's mostly by herself. These are one-player games.
I mean, and then in the remake, not the remake, but the collection, they at least voice acted the logs.
The third one, they voice acted Corruption, but Samus didn't talk, which made sense. Because number one, going by the story, which a lot of y'all don't have good story comprehension, we're just gonna leave it at that. She don't talk to the Federation because she don't like them.
She's a bounty hunter. She's not a cop.
Yeah, and she don't really like the Federation like that. Going by the lore, she don't really jive with them like that. They tried to tell that story in Other M, but it kind of felt a little convoluted. But basically, she don't fully me back. She basically don't fully trust them because she know they on that BS. And at the time, they won't let her just mercilessly kill space pirates.
I mean, they proved it in Corruption anyway, because they ended up being cannon fodder the moment they landed. So
yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, that's why I don't mind people talking, but like temper that shit, man. Calm that, bring that down some, especially if you don't know nothing about the game.
So do you think it makes the anniversary, or is it going to end up being a launch game for 10th generation?
It's probably gonna make the anniversary just because of COVID. If it wasn't because of COVID,
Yeah.
they probably would have pushed it to the next one to be so they'll have that big. It'll probably been on Switch and whatever they're coming up with next. Because
Yeah.
I really don't think I don't think they're gonna deviate too much from the Switch because too many people like the idea of being able to carry their games anywhere with them. So I don't think we're gonna get nothing crazy like they normally do this time around, just because they kind of got they have their own little niche thing. I do think though we're probably gonna have a situation where I would not be surprised if Nintendo makes a standard home one and one that you can carry everywhere with you. But
Yep.
if that thing has anything with 4K chipsets in it, and Shadow, you know this, they're gonna have a fan in it.
Yeah, that's not gonna be.
It's
No.
not gonna be. It's gonna have to have some kind of cooling system in it.
Well, if they were going to do it and like your suggestion, like what you're talking about, and they were going to do a home version, then that might be the one that runs things at
Yeah,
4K. But if they do like a portable one that links to a dock, like
Yeah.
the current
like what
Switch,
we got now. Yeah,
then that might
So
at max do 2K.
I'm thinking
yeah,
the only way that this works is if you do the supplemental computing device, which is basically another Switch dock,
yeah.
that will come bundled as a new console or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And it comes with the Switch, and then you like the Switch that we have right now, and whenever you dock it, you can play in 4K. But other than that, it's a normal Switch on the go or what have you, or it's actually 1+1, and then you literally have one Switch that's capable of doing higher resolutions or what have you, but there's another Switch console inside of the actual dock itself that does work, so they work in tandem
Yeah.
for when you play on the TV. But that sounds a little too complicated, especially over USB-C. So I think the best way for it to go is like the dock itself is a separate computing device, and you hand it off once you take it
Yeah,
off the dock.
yeah. Because I think that's what they're gonna have to do, just because everybody's talking about. And the thing is, tablets now can do that. But like I've been telling people a lot, I'm like, your tablet and your phone can do it. Play that thing in 4K and see how fast your hand burns.
Yeah, yeah, it's not gonna
It's
be a
not
thing.
conducive to that. So you have to turn it off. That's why I like with my phone and even with my tablet, I've turned that thing to 1080 and leave it at
Yeah,
that. Because if I run even at 1080, if I play something too long, it'll start getting hot.
yeah. The
So
Switch itself isn't even like the firmware in it obviously isn't perfect because and I have several launch units, but even the new 10101 uh that I have, it still has issues where if I'm playing a game on a dock for an extended period of time, it may take a couple of minutes to spin down to finish
yeah,
playing in 720p on dock. So
yeah,
whenever I'll take it off the TV screen, it's like, oh, you're not upscaling. Let me cool down. Let me spin this down. Let me dial down the GPU or whatever. And it takes a while. Like that console will be literally burning, and the fan is going like super hot for a while, like a good couple of minutes, unless I power it down myself and restart it.
mhm,
So if that's not even perfect on, and this is the fourth year of the system. Like,
mhm,
they got a lot of kinks to work out if they want to plan on doing this across two separate systems,
yeah.
to make them work as one. So
But I do. Side note, I kind of hope we get Red Steel and uh
that would be fun.
Conduit back. You know,
That would be
Get those
fun.
videos.
Yeah, but I don't think High
that's why I'm
Voltage is
plugging it because usually
doing.
when he says it, we get it in 2 years.
Yeah, I think High Voltage is still doing job. They're a jobber now. They're not really doing, if they're even still, if they're not defunct right now, they're
Because when
still
the
doing just
grinder,
port jobs right now.
yeah, because when Grinder didn't come up, when Grinder got canceled, I think that was their last thing
Yeah,
that
that
they
was their
were.
last shot as being independent. Yeah.
I
So
hate that too, because they had some bangers, man.
yeah, they
I
had
wish
the
that,
tech, they had the ideas, they were ready.
yeah. Um, Conduit and Conduit 2, please. Just like No More Heroes 1 and 2, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Um,
Combo pack.
combo pack. Yeah. All right, people. So that's it for our first episode of 2021. Leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think. What are you looking forward to in 2021? Are you going to be taking your time trying to see how these games going to be looking, or are you just going to buy and spend recklessly? Please say no.
Please don't.
Yeah, please don't do that.
It's too many old games to play this year. Like, I mean, from last year. Like,
yeah, because I still got a couple of them I got to finish from last year. Because I do got to finish Future Connected, and I do got to finish a couple others. I'm still trying to get Cosmos to hell with you, monoliths off of that, and other stuff like that. But Andre, anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
Not a whole lot. I do have why game for a Castlevania RPG if people are interested, because that's a concept that I was oddly enough that makes a lot of sense that didn't happen. I'm like, why didn't this happen?
Yeah, that is strange.
Yeah, especially when we got a fighting game.
Yeah,
you got a fighting game for a mythological story before you get an RPG,
which made no sense.
And Symphony of the Night and Castlevania 2 before that were borderline RPGs already. So
yeah, but I was talking more of like a turn-based RPG. But it's still
okay. Like, okay, but that would work too.
That happened.
Yeah.
But go ahead and listen to that. There's a lot of good detail in that, and it's not a very long video.
Cool. Shadow, anything you want to pimp out?
The channel is reborn. I may be streaming tonight. We'll see what happens. But Shadowcast is incoming soon, so stay tuned. I will post on Twitter for updates and whatnot, and you'll see the tiers there too, because I'm coming and I'm coming hard. So I hope that a lot of people with large followings already bring the tiers.
I feel a war coming.
Yeah, war's coming.
I'm just gonna grab some popcorn. The gaming channel, if you guys haven't had a chance, you can go by and check that out. Please subscribe and all that. Smash the like, all the other good YouTuber stuff that we're supposed to say.
Yes.
I am going to have some stuff. I'm going to try to get back into live streaming. I do have a couple things I have to do before I can probably do that on a regular basis schedule. I got some stuff I got to take care of work-wise that is keeping me from doing that currently. But as soon as I get that taken care of, I'll try to get a schedule out of live streaming. I'll probably just be doing it on YouTube. I may try to do it on Facebook. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, don't worry. Live streaming will be coming to the gaming channel. So I do have some videos up. I did a playthrough of the Double Dragon Neon game from 2012 from Way Forward. I did not expect them to punch Marion in the beginning. I was not expecting that, but they did that. Yay. So Ninja Gaiden. It needs to be coming. I need that to be coming because I'm pretty sure Ryu Hayabusa is coming to Smash. I'm still calling that one. So be on the lookout because I am doing a Let's Talk for Sephiroth in Smash. Hopefully I'll have that one out next week. May throw up some gameplay of Borderlands, and I may actually test out the streaming tomorrow. If you follow me on Twitter at JFleming, I'll probably put something up letting you guys know when that will be up. So there's that. But thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thank you for supporting the channel. Share out, like, share, all the other good stuff. Tell your friends. We will be here for hopefully a long time to come. So, as always, Wakanda Forever, people.
Hey.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.